What's good, World is Vinyl back again. I'm just going to do a quick more update on the videos. They should be coming a bit more frequently. I've just moved house, which is why it's all different backdrop. I've had to take a long time getting all this set up and all my stuff put together. So apologies on that. We're going to carry on the A to C. Going to go back to C. I think we were on C. I've got a Hanks collection of C, so I'm just going to do half of it and then the other half of it on another video because it's long. So I'm going to start off with Conor Mackerson, Forever Dolphin Love. This album I picked up on a whim because I hadn't heard the album, but I'd heard a cover of the song Forever Dolphin Love by King Cruel. He did it on like a live lounge, something like that. It's on a beautiful pressing. I got it from Rough Trade, which is the whole reason I got it really. I was like, oh, I like that one cover. But King Cruel did that one song on this album and the colour looks amazing. So I was like, right, I'll just get it and we'll go from there basically. And it's an amazing album. It's like moody, atmospheric. It's really good, but it's nothing like the King Cruel cover. King Cruel cover is much more shouty. This is obviously much more. I don't know if you've ever heard Conor Mackerson. He's like got quite a creepy but interesting voice. Definitely give it a listen. Moving on, we've got Pop 2 by Charli XCX. I'm trying to show you it. It's just dead reflective. So you see in my TV at the minute, I'm afraid. The whole cover's like this. It's just like mirror vinyl. And the actual vinyl is this beautiful magenta purple colour. And if you can see on the sleeve there, it's got all the tracks around it. It's not on the vinyl, that's the sleeve that comes with it. It's sick. It comes with a massive poster as well. Charli XCX is one of my probably favourite pop artists, but this album particularly is probably her best one. Really interesting, and at the time when it had come out, it was like a new wave of pop, like the hyper poppy stuff, bit on here and all that kind of stuff. It was like a new resurgence. So definitely check that out. It's like a mixtape kind of thing, but Pop 2 I'd say is her best work. So if you're not familiar with Charli, or if you are familiar with Charli and you only know more of the mainstream type tunes, there's a lot of stuff on there that's more interesting. Speaking of Charli, we've got quite a few. So we've got the album Charli by Charli XCX. This is sort of on par with Pop 2 for me. Pop 2 is probably more experimental and interesting, but this is just sort of mainstream pop done very well, I believe. It is still interesting, but it's just done very well. So it's just a clear album. It's not really much point showing it to you, really, because there's a lot of clear albums and I find them quite boring. It seems to be like the new black. I don't know if I've said that before, but I do feel very strongly about that. But yeah, the follow-up to that is more hyperpop sort of based, and it's how I'm feeling now. More hyperpop based album. This was made during lockdown. She was doing live streams and stuff on Instagram, and you could sort of like add your thoughts into some of the tracks. I remember putting some comments in and being like, oh, do this, do this, do that, and she was like responding. It was quite cool. So yeah, it's like a little lockdown mixtape type thing, but there's some amazing songs on there, like Pink Diamond, Claws, Forever, Party for You, Enemy. There's some like her best work on that, and all the artwork's done obviously during lockdown. This is fan artwork, and there's like a nice cute message there. I think is it just clear? Yeah, it's just bloody clear again. What's downside? This is the last Charli one I've got. Crash, newest album that came out. Love the album cover. It's probably my least favourite album of hers, to be honest, but I still really like it. It's probably her most mainstream, less experimental album that she's got, but it is still quite good, quite interesting. There's lots to it. It's quite a sick gatefold. I hate gatefolds usually just because I don't like 2 discs, I only want 1. I ain't got time to be flipping it over. But this is an example of them doing a gatefold but it only having 1 disc, and I always like when people do that. But it's showing the light. Yeah, it's like a marble. It's a nice colour, but I feel like it just looks a bit bland because it's just like real dark marbling. I feel like they could have done that bright and more vibrant, but you know, it's still cool. There's some good tracks on there. Baby's good, Beg For You's good, Good Ones is good, New Shapes is good. There's some good stuff on there. Every Rule, probably my favourite song on there. There's some good stuff, it's just not like my favourite, if you know what I mean. But definitely check it out if you haven't. Okay, so we've done Charli XCX now, and this kind of goes hand in hand with it in the C column, and it's Christine and the Queens, or Chris and the Queens, I think it is now, I'm not sure. I don't know the name of this EP, I can't pronounce it, but it's a little EP that he did sort of between a big album and then sort of the shift over in sound. But it's cool. I mean, it's not the best ever, but it's a nice little, like, interesting take on pop music. There's some nice tracks on there, some cute tracks. But one of my favourite Chris tracks ever was just People I've Been Sad. It's good. It's worth like checking out if you haven't really listened to Christine and the Queens or Chris and the Queens before. It's defo worth giving it a spin, just because it's short and it's easy to digest and it's not too out there. But yeah, I bought it for like quite cheap, like 12 quid when it came out. So that's kind of why I got it, because I liked some of their work on other projects, and I was like, oh, I'll just give it a go, and it ended up being alright. So that's kind of where it comes from. Okay, moving on. I've had to take a little break there just to get the rest of the records, because there's heaps in the C category, as I said before. I don't know why, but all my records seem to go in C and K for some reason. But so the next one is Clipping. I believe this is Visions of Bodies Being Burned, isn't it? Yeah, Visions of Bodies Being Burned, because there's the other one as well. I need to get the other one, which is the first one. This is part 2 of their horror albums that they did. Really interesting take on sort of like a horror rap album, but it's not like a horrorcore and over the top. It's like real interesting, really lovely packaging with all the like nice shapes and pictures on there. Also, one of my favourite pressings I've got. Like, look at that, like fire orange and red and yellow. If you're a fan of rap and hip hop, and especially experimental rap, definitely give this one a go, because it is probably one of my favourite experimental hip hop albums there is. I mean, the David Diggs anyway, I really like on most things, and Clipping I like most of their albums, but these 2 albums, so the first one and then this one, are amazing. This is probably a bit better for me than the first instalment of it, but the first installment's still great. Yeah, it's so good. All the discs are the same, so I'm not going to get all of them out, because I think it's like a triple or quad disc set for this, so there's quite a lot to go through, and it's all the same colour. But definitely check this one out. Visions of Body Being Burned by Clipping. There's lots of like fast raps on there, a lot of like quite witty raps. The subject matter that Clipping go into always amazes me. They have no limits to their subject matter when they do tracks, like songs about like a whole horror album. It's like a theatrical piece, which I think is pretty interesting. You don't get a lot of sort of stuff based off that. Moving on, I do have another Clipping album, which is Wriggle. Well, it's not really an album, it's like an EP. That was a transitional EP before that one. It's not like the most mind-blowing things. If you haven't heard them before, it might be something just to go into, just to get a bit of a gist. But yeah, it's not like the greatest thing they've done, but it is really interesting. There's some good songs on there. The song Wriggle is one of the most interesting rap songs, to be fair. Look at that, an amazing colour. I couldn't say no when this colour dropped. Look at it, beautiful blue. I don't really listen to it much, but just having that colour in my collection is definitely worth it. Moving on from there, we've got Chance the Rapper with 10 Day. Now, to be honest, I don't really like Chance the Rapper. I just got these because they were on the site and they were limited, and all the colours of these mixtapes are amazing. And to be fair, 10 Day was something I listened to a lot in school, so it's quite nostalgic for me. And this is one of his mixtapes I actually do really like, and the colour of it is beautiful. That blue, sort of 2 gradient blue and the white, I really like it. Most people know Chance the Rapper, so no point in me saying, oh, if you want to get into him, really. But for me, 10 Day is probably his best work. That and Colouring Book. But Tende, as a rap point of view, I think he was just very focused, and he was talking a lot about nostalgia and being a kid and growing up, and that's all stuff that I found quite interesting at the time. Whereas his newer work, it's not so much for me, to be honest, and even this next album that I'm going to talk about, Acid Rap, I don't really like it very much. I love the cover, I love the back, I love this beautiful gatefold, and even the pressing is lovely for Acid Rap. Look at that. One of the nicest pressings I've got, and this is one of the reasons I have it, is because I had the other two of his mixtapes, and I thought, well, I can have the whole collection and have a beautiful pressing. But I've never ever spun it, not once. It doesn't even have Juice on it, which in my opinion is the best Chance the Rapper song. So the fact it doesn't have Juice kind of makes me feel a bit iffy about it. And you know, it's not bad. I don't hate it. It's just not necessarily for me. So while it's good, I would spin it. I just don't. But I wouldn't be opposed. It's just not necessarily for me. But probably the album I do listen to the most from Chance the Rapper, but still very rarely, is this one, Colouring Book. This is the one that's got a lot of more gospel influence. It's got Kanye on it. Yeah, it's got a lot of nice sort of. This feels like Chance finally growing up and writing an album that he wanted to make. It's got some fun tracks like No Problems, Same Drugs. In fact, I take back what I said about Juice. Same Drugs is my favourite Chance the Rapper song. Beautiful song. It has got some sort of not songs I don't like there, like Juke Jam and All Night, and there's a song with Future, Smoke Break. I don't really like that, but overall, it's quite a nice listen. In the summer, I might spin this. It's still rare, but in the summer, I might spin it. It has got my least favourite variant out of all the ones though that I've got of his. They did the 3 mixtapes, and this is just like an orange colour, which is still nice, but the other two are so good, and the other two aren't as good albums, so it feels a bit of a letdown that I love this album more than the others, and it's the least good variant. But you win some, you lose some, and all that. Okay, moving on. This is probably one of my favourite vinyl packages I have. Let me get some proper shots of this. So, Cult of the Damned in Church, or The Church of, sorry. This is sort of, if you don't know Cult of the Damned, it sort of formed from Cult Mountain. Cult Mountain is this rap group with Charli and some guy, Lee Scott and Milcavelli. So it's sort of based around that, and then Blah Records was formed, which is the record company that Lee Scott sort of raps under, and a few other people. And they made a bigger one called Cult of the Damned, which was basically almost the whole label doing a rap project together. Some Scouse rappers in there, some really interesting, even Danny Lover, who's Canadian, Bisk. There's just so many good rappers on here. Really good UK rap. This is a very good variant. I'll show you in a minute. But the packaging is so good for this one. So I've got 97 out of 250. I love the way the back looks. All the album, like all the songs there. Let me get disc out. So you get this on the back that says Hypnosis, Achieve Mind Control, and it gives you all this sort of the instructions to be hypnotised. And then the disc 1 looks like this, so it's like a hypno disc. Really sick. Like, I don't even listen to this much, but I'm never selling it because I just think it's such a sick packaging. And this is one of the only ones I'm going to show you disc 2 on, because it actually has a different one for disc 2. So this is again about hypnosis, but it's a different hypno wave. So if I turn it around, look, it's got that on it instead of the other one. And let's show you this one. This one's even sicker. So I don't usually get like picture discs and stuff all the time, but this one's really sick, and I couldn't say no to it. It was limited edition. I don't know how much it goes for now, but that's not really why I bought it, to be honest. I just bought it because I liked it. So yeah, that's the C's. It's probably the biggest collection I've got other than K, but K's getting reduced down because I'm selling a lot. But yeah, hopefully you got something out of that. I think I've got some cool variants in that one. Next one will obviously be D's and then E's, and we're going to keep going. I've got a couple of records. Obviously you can see some of them up there, which is a bit of a spoiler, but I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I've got a couple of records from the A's, ABCs that I did before, to sort of do a vinyl update with. But that will come in due course. I'm going to try and get through some of these, and I'll do like a big vinyl update that weren't in there. I need to take notes of some of them, and then go from there. So yeah, I appreciate it. I'll see you in the next one.